I have some really cool tools to talk about. This was very exciting for me because this is right down my lane, brand new from Amazon. You won't believe the price of these multi-tools. Maybe you will after we look at them. They are shockingly affordable. Let's jump into it. Now, one of the things I want to mention, first of all, is that even though these are brand new from Amazon, they are not a brand new design. These take design cues from these two tools and combine them into one. And these two tools right here have, well, they've got some history, let's just say. So let's go ahead, look at this tool, and then we'll examine a bit of the history behind them. Now, these were so cheap that I actually bought two of them because I was afraid they would sell out before I could get them. Here is the really cool plier head. This is brand new on Amazon. This was originally a design made by Behr & Sons, I believe. I think Behr & Sons came out with it first, and then it was Crescent and Toolsall essentially had Behr & Sons rebadge one of their tools for them, but then there's another tool which will be very similar to the interior tools. Now, I have not checked out this plier head for how good it does at wire stripping. I'm a little scared to do that. We'll do that in a couple minutes, but let's go ahead and just look at this. One of the cool things is it is spring loaded, and then it does look like you can adjust perhaps the tension onto the plier head, which is good. Now, some of the bad parts are that I don't think they quite understood how this design works, and so the plier head does not really match up that well, or yeah, it seems to overlap, which I don't quite get. It does have this little lock where you can lock the head in place and then close it up. Now, the rest of the tool will remind you a lot of the Leatherman PST, or perhaps some of the early Victorinox or SOG tools where they were on the outside, or the early Victorinox, I guess, were. And they did get that from Behr & Sons, so we have this design cues from them. But this right here is cool in that it has the knife, can opener, screwdriver. I believe this is supposed to be an all the file. On the other side, serrated blade, saw, the Phillips screwdriver, flat screwdrivers. Now, this tool is $10. Now, for $10, I expect basically nothing out of a multi-tool. You can't get anything hardly for $10. So when I saw this knife, none of these tools lock, so that's not surprising. But this is based on an older design. And even when I look at this file, it's not a great file, but I don't think it is exactly the worst I've ever seen. This awl is not very sharp. The screwdrivers, though, are not rounded, which is surprising to me. They seem, I think they might actually work. I have no clue about the can opener, but that side, I'm pleasantly surprised. Even with the saw, I feel like it's made a tiny bit better. The screwdrivers here, perhaps they are a little rounded. This one, but not that bad. The Phillips screwdriver is a little small, but I feel like these interior tools are made a bit better than a lot of the other tools I see for $10. Even the serrated blade actually looks pretty good. Maybe one of the things I should do is get some paracord and just check this out. So here's some paracord. Well, okay, so it does go through, but I don't think it's extremely sharp. I know this is an electrician-based multi-tool, so it will not appeal to everyone, but let's go ahead and just see, does this even work? Let's see. All right, well, for small wires, it works very well. Now, the cutters, yeah, works there. Try this again. Yeah, extremely well. No problem with the smaller wires. Now, I assume with these larger wires, because it has such a very small set of wire cutters here at the bottom, we will run into some issues, but actually with this copper, it works pretty good. Probably need it up here. Yeah, it actually, I don't have much problems with that. Let's go ahead. This may be too much, so it's a little larger. Let's go ahead, use this, go around it. Yeah. Now, because the wire cutters aren't really maybe meant for quite this gauge, It does leave a little bit of marks, but overall, I am pretty impressed. There is a great article on the multitool.org forum about this multi-tool in particular. They say this was sanctioned or commissioned by Crescent from Baron Sons. Their name was put on here, the Tools All Pro Electrician. Now, I know there has been some debate about what Crescent did, what Baron Sons did. I'm not up on all that exactly. I'm trying to figure out how to get this one out. There we go. This one has a saw, can opener, has some different tools in this handle that definitely set it apart from the one we just looked at. But let's go ahead, go to this tool right here, and that's why I said this is sort of like a hybrid. This plier head looks totally different, but look at the tool set on the inside where we've got the saw, these screwdrivers, on the other side the file, and then the Phillips driver and the can opener. So it does remind me a little bit of a cross between the two. Now there's some holes on here already from the past, so let's go ahead, start using that. So what I find with a lot of these electrician multi-tools is that either the inside tools are bad or the wire stripping head is bad. A lot of times one is okay and then the other is just awful. Now I can tell that the frame, yeah, it actually is working okay. All right, let's use this. Okay. All right, let's see what other tools we have. We've already on the other side. Let's use this flat screwdriver. See how well that works with this one. Let's see, I think this one actually, yeah, works a little better. Can definitely tell the handles are moving a little bit. So still, I can hold them together. And there we go. Screw's definitely getting harder to screw in. But it is working. Now we're going to try the Phillips. I'm going to try a couple different sizes of Phillips because I'm not sure. I don't think this Phillips driver, it doesn't look perfect to me, but let's see how it works. It is working. All right. It's actually coming out the other end right there. Let's try this larger screw, see how that fits in there. Start this a little bit. I definitely can feel some wobble with that, but yeah, so it's not made for ones that large, definitely. Now I do have a smaller one. I'm going to try. That actually feels like that's about the perfect size. We'll start a new hole in this piece of wood. And it is working. Now I have to say these handles are not the most comfortable. There are some edges that feel a little sharp, but again, remember this is a $10 tool, a $10 tool. These handles are squared off. If you notice, these handles have been rounded. They've been machined a little more so you don't have those sharp edges. But on this $10 tool, I would definitely recommend, if you really do decide to pick this up and use it, that you round the edges a little bit to make it more comfortable. All right, so I use the serrated blade sort of. Let's use the main blade to cut open this baggie. I just recently bought a Gerber, and this one was in worse condition than I thought it was, which seems to be the story of my life on eBay recently. But this is a cool Gerber in that it is one of the collared ones, but you can see it has some, definitely a fair amount of paint missing on it, but that's what we have. The knife did work for that task. Can it cut the baggie? Yeah, it can. So let's try it on the paracord. I don't have huge hopes for how well or easily it will cut this rope, but let's try it. Yeah, it did cut it. I'm going to make a wild claim and say that as of right now, with the 5 minutes of testing I have done, I feel like this is one of the best bargains on Amazon for an electrician multi-tool around the $10 range, the 10 to 20. I'm not sure if I would feel that way if I kept using this tool, but at the moment, from the little I've seen, it actually is more than I expected for $10. Let me know what you think. So far, I'm pretty excited that I did pick this up a little bit better than I anticipated. Is it as good as the Roxxon wire stripper? Probably not. That would probably still be the system to go with. But if you want a whole electrician multi-tool with this multi-tool wire stripper head on it, this might be your best buy for right now.